I'm Danny Hicks. Welcome to the Not So Secret Agent podcast, where we learn from top real estate agents how they maintain a thriving business, all while living the good life. So, welcome to the podcast. I have Katie Eisenhard and Shelly Mcaddy from the Eisenhard Group. And guys, thanks so much for being on the show. I really, really appreciate you guys doing this. And this is the first time because every other show we've done so far has been with the team lead. And I think this one's going to be exciting. It's kind of hearing, when we talk to the team leads, they tell us how it's supposed to go, right? When you talk to the actual team members, they tell you, well, this is really what happens. This is really how, the bacon's made, if you will. So thanks again for being on the show. And I just wanted to start by getting you guys to tell me a little bit about how you got drawn into the dark arts of real estate, because it's definitely a calling. And for Katie, I imagine it was like I was 7 because my mom was an agent. And
No, it wasn't. It was actually, I graduated college and I didn't know what I was going to do. And my mom was in the business and had been in it for, at that time, I think 13 years, 12 or 13 years. And she's just like, well, do you want to help me out? And so I started to. And then I think once you get into it, you never look back. So here I am 18 years later, and that's kind of just how it happened. It wasn't planned. It wasn't what I wanted to do, but I certainly love it. And I'm glad that I kind of fell into it, so to speak, or was raised in it.
What about you, Shelly?
Same. For me, a lot of my family is in real estate. I started out in Atlanta, Georgia. I have an uncle who is a builder, aunts who are realtors. So it's just one of those things I was accustomed to. And as growing up, I always liked to go look at the houses. So that was always fun for me. And it was just something I was interested in. I got into it and I've been doing it. I'd sold real estate and I've done operations and sales management for 23 years now.
Man, we got a lot of experience on the show here. I think I was laughing because my family owns a construction company in Virginia Beach. And when I left for college, they were like, your hammer will be waiting. And I think it's still waiting. I didn't go check on it, but I knew I was going to be in housing. I just didn't want to be in the sun and, doing hard labor. So this seemed like an obvious choice, if you will. So what is your why? Like over the different seasons, because both of you guys have been in this for a long time. I know when we started, it was like, hey man, I need a paycheck. Like I need to survive. And then as things shift, why do you continue to do kind of the crazy stuff that we have to do to make a living at this?
I mean, for me, it's my family, 100%. I'm married to my college sweetheart and I have 3 young daughters, 13-year-old and then twins who are 10. And that's why I continue to do this. And I love the business and, yes, it's flexible. That's obviously a nice thing because I can help them. They all swim competitively. So being able to go to their swim meets and help out with their swim team and volunteer for school things kind of fits with the whole real estate mold because you can kind of schedule appointments and things around what's important for the kids. And I think, that's nice. So it's definitely my family.
Same. Mine is my family. I have a 7-year-old, so that is exciting. But why do I keep doing it? Honestly, I just enjoy the business and I enjoy the industry and helping people. I mean, whether it's agents or homeowners or buyers, it's just, that's what fuels me.
Yeah, there's
and our team too.
Right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but Shelly comes from a lot, she really helps. We got her last year, and I think I was telling you earlier off the podcast, but she came from another team, and it was just great because she kind of helps coach us along with certain things that we didn't even know we were going to get when we hired her on. So that I think is awesome. With her experience, she's able to give us what we should do in different situations and scenarios, and how to communicate and talk to clients and that kind of thing.
And Shelly, before I was allowed to bring you on the show, I had to promise to not try to steal you because they value you that much. Like literally, they were like, You can talk to her. You can take all the notes you want, but you cannot in any way, shape, or form steal her from us.
Well, thank you. I've just seen a lot of different things and had the opportunity to work with a lot of different people who are all fantastic. And, you learn something new from every person that you work with. So I'm like a sponge. I just soak it all in and try to put the things out there that I thought were really good. I try to put them back out there and use the best of the best.
Yeah, and that has a lot to do, like even the Buffini stuff. We fly all over the country to steal ideas from each other. And then I came up with an idea of I will just interview them. And if you say the word podcast, people get excited and then they tell you all their secrets. It's magic. It's wonderful. So who's on the team right now? You guys mentioned the team. What does the structure look like?
So Mary Beth is our team lead. She's my mom, but I do call her Mary Beth. Everyone's like, is she your mother-in-law? She's definitely not my mother-in-law. Whoops, shouldn't say that out loud. Anyways, but Mary Beth, and then myself, and then Garrett is the buyer's agent on our team. He joined our team in 2016. Then Terry Smith is a former client. She joined our team as a buyer's agent. And then we have a new buyer's agent that joined us from another team earlier this year. And then Shelly joined us last June. And then myself. So it's Mary Beth and myself tend to handle most of the listings.
Okay.
And then Signe and Garrett are really the buyer's agents, but that doesn't mean that they don't bring in sellers or help out with listings. And then Shelly is behind the scenes. She does everything as far as like our marketing goes, getting the listings in the MLS, all the administrative stuff. Mm-hmm. And then on top of all that, she is so creative. So she does all of like our marketing, like our postcards, our pop by labels, helping coordinate our client parties, all of those extra things that, go on top of all the administrative stuff. And then Terry is really more of a part-time agent on the team just because she still works in the school systems.
So the client appreciation program is handled by Shelly in addition to all the admin stuff. And the way you guys are structured, you have Mary Beth as team lead, kind of the rainmaker type thing, and then you're doing the listing specialist type thing, and then you've got a couple of buyer's agents.
Yeah, but we also like to make sure we tell all of our clients, like when we're interviewing them and they're new to the team, that any one of us can show them a house or anyone, so Sure. We don't ever like to pigeonhole us into that specific role either. So we have been just saying this is a team member versus labeling everyone as a buyer's agent or a listing agent, because we thought for a while there, it was like if we labeled them, then clients thought that was all they could do.
Right.
So we've kind of taken that away.
And that makes sense because every agent is kind of a Swiss Army knife. I mean, whatever shows up, that's what we got to deal with. If you walk in and it's a mess, you're a stager. If it, whatever we see, you can't be like, well, I'm not the listing guy. I'll wait. That's not going to happen.
Exactly.
It's like, I would fear for my life if you did that waiting on Mary Beth to get there. I literally,
no
yeah. just
We've had to make bets.
Yeah, I would fear. So what's working to generate business right now? I know we talked about a ton of marketing stuff, which I'm really excited about, and we're kind of coming off of the Heather Roxburgh interview, and a lot of overlap there. I thought that was super cool, and just kind of all of that stuff. But what's working right now? I know the market's a little tougher, the interest rates, all those good things that they keep telling us. But what do you guys got going on?
I mean, we are really doubling down on lead generation. So making the calls, writing the notes, and doing the pop buys. And that is something, our coach has also made sure that we continue to do. So we haven't let up on that. And even when the market was flying, we didn't let up. But I think that's really kind of helped us with the current market and sustaining, the level of business that we've been able to. But really, it's just keeping up with our lead generation. I mean, as much as that is just like kind of boring, it's really what has continued to help.
And being intentional with the ask. You can make calls all day long, but if you're not intentional with the close, then, it's not going to do much. So just being intentional with asking if anybody, has mentioned buying or selling to you lately, and, would you mind sharing their contact information, just being direct about it.
Yeah.
That's something that me and my coach Grace just talked about, and literally it came down to like the intentionality. You can do all the activities you want, but you really need to be converting, the 2 for 1. You know what I mean? You get a buyer and you need to get 2 buyers out of that buyer. And even how we ask.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know how to refer. So teaching them how to refer and teaching them what to do if they hear somebody say that they, are going to be thinking about selling their house or buying something, I think that's an important piece of the puzzle too, because we have to train the people on how to give us business.
Yeah, and
specifically. When we try and tell them that the best way to refer us is to get permission for the person to give their name and number to us. And like, we also have really tried to tell them, like, put us on a group text message.
Yes.
So introduce them to us via text message and just say, hey, Joe, this is Katie. She's on the text message. She'll be able to help you out. Joe, this, vice versa. So that we've really tried to educate our clients that that's what they need to be doing. Is like, if you come across somebody in, work or a friend or whatever that needs a real estate, just put us on a joint text, because so many people, prefer that. So
I was going to say, that's been my secret weapon lately, is the joint text. Like right there, they can't just not respond because their friend's on there. Right. So they at least have to have the conversation. They at least have to be, and in our defense, their friend, there was a conversation where they raised their hand for this. It's not like we're like, oh, we're going to do it to you.
Yeah, exactly.
You blinked and now you own 2 homes.
I do think it makes it a little less like confrontational for that person, because you're like, hey, like, just let me know. And if you communicate via text, then, you can start a new text message and then you can check in on them. But at the very minimum, you have their phone number and their name. And so that's the biggest thing. And that's the problem, is so many people say, oh yeah, I gave your information to my coworker. Well, that doesn't help. Because they have my information. I need their information. And that's what we've really focused on, is making sure we get the person you're referring to. We have to have their information. So our biggest thing is educating our clients on the best way to refer us. Those are the conversations we're having. And then following up, obviously making sure, once they refer us, then it's the note and all that other good jazz. So.
Yeah, I always found that the difference between a secret admirer and a stalker is how into it they are. So I don't think you can be too pushy on that. Like, if they're into it and they want that information, you're just doing a good job. If they don't, you're a stalker, and they'll quickly get rid of you. But better to know than to waste your time, if that makes sense.
No, it's true.
I was going to say, and I like that group text. It definitely makes everything easier. It definitely gets that, the communication, and we have the information to help them. And the other thing that I've done with my clients is kind of say, all I'm going to say is, Katie thought I might be able to help you out. This is what I do. And that's it. I mean, they're going to do it or they're not going to do it. At no point are you going to be able to convince them to do anything they didn't want to do. You're never... Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. And it's crazy too, once people start finding out you're in real estate, like with Shelly and I, with the young kid factor, like our friends or the kids' friends, parents find out we sell real estate, and then it's conversation after conversation. I mean, at every swim meet that we've had lately, I've had somebody come up to me asking me about real estate and, getting my information. I'm getting, their stuff. So they want to talk about buying or selling. So that, I think, is another avenue that has really kind of expanded, and that's through the kids and the sports and the schools.
Katie came into the office one day with a referral from her daughter.
Yes.
From school.
Exactly. My kid, and the kids learn it. They do. And when I was growing up, and so Mary Beth sold real estate in Southern California, then Alabama, and now Virginia, because my dad was in the military, so we moved a lot. But when we were in California growing up, my swim team friends, they all knew it was Mary Beth. So I think that's, a lot of people don't like to go that route, like their friends or their kids' friends. But once your kids know like that this is what you do, and they do benefit because they, obviously you're making the money. So they understand like, hey, my mom sells real estate. So you should, call her. She needs, and then they get their information. I mean, that, I don't know, we're kind of going off tangent, but anyways, that's another thing that's been popping up lately. So
I can just picture Mary Beth when that referral came in. Excellent.
It was the whole swim team. I mean, because she was PTO president of like an elementary school, middle school, and I think high school all at the same year, and so it was everybody. And so yeah,
that's really cool. And that was one of the things that I took away from our pre-podcast conversation was people will do more for their children than they would do for themselves. 100%. When you think about the swim meet, and like that's one of those sports where, from a parent standpoint, you're there for all day to see your kid swim for a minute, 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Like if that doesn't demonstrate that, whereas like if I wanted a coffee and the line was 3 deep, I'd be like, maybe not. But for the swim meet, they're like, yes, we will be there at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
No problem.
Well, and it's crazy too, because I think once people start realizing what you do for volunteer when you're not getting paid, like you're volunteering to run the meet, or you're volunteering to, time or whatever it is you're volunteering to do at the school, put on the event or whatnot, then they start to realize, okay, well, if this is what they're doing just for volunteering, think about it if they were actually, getting paid, for lack of better words. So I think, you do a good job volunteering and doing all that stuff. It kind of seeps over into them believing, that you are going to be a fantastic realtor and an advocate for them.
So as you're meeting these people and you're doing the volunteering, how much of that does Mary Beth let you use as your calls? You're like, all right, I'm face to face. We had a real estate conversation.
None, absolutely none. It's so funny because I'll have to say, like, Mary Beth comes from I think we talked about this, the old school Buffini way. So it was a call. A call was all that freaking counted, And if you got a voicemail, that counted. But text message, that didn't exist. And then email, that certainly didn't. And videos, absolutely not. She's kind of come off of that a little bit. But it's still, if you have a face-to-face conversation, our coach has insisted that counts. So because our coach has insisted that it counts, Mary Beth in turn, it counts.
You're like, we just talked about this, but I'm going to call you on your way to the court because I need this to count.
Yeah, exactly.
That sort of thing.
It's like, if you get their information and stuff. No, she's good about it. But so it counts. I think it's just getting yourself out there and talking to them and having a productive conversation. And then once you get their information, I think one thing we've done really good about this year, which has helped too, is following up conversations with notes. Yes. So personal notes. Mary Beth's a big note writer. I don't love them, but I know how much they impact and can solidify the relationship. So you follow up with a note, and so many people are like, they get junk mail. So you send them a personal note saying it was great talking with you, That I think has helped too, because they get that and they're like, oh, okay. So
see, I find the notes easy because if I didn't talk to you, I write you a note because I didn't get to talk to you. Sorry, I missed you. This is what I wanted. And if I did talk to you, that note's even easier because I actually have something to write. But especially if you're making your calls. And that's the other thing that I tell the agents in our office. I'm like, look, if you're doing all your other activities, it comes easy, right? You need this many calls. Well, you call them before you do a pop-by. There's a call. If they don't answer, you leave a voicemail, and then you're going to send the note behind it. Hope you like we call them vegan nachos because there's no cheese, but I say all the cheese is on the label because it's the nacho average realtor one. I'm like, yeah.
That was funny.
That's good.
Yeah, it's my whole brand is dad jokes and drinking. That's what
That's good. You'd like the one we did for Father's Day then. This was Signe and Garrett's idea, and I think that they took it from, I think it was from Heather Valentine people, but I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
It was a mason jar with a little airplane bottle and a little small can of Coke or ginger ale or something, and it was like something for shot at real estate. We have the buzz on the real estate market. Give us a shot for your next transaction or something to that effect. It was cute. Shelly has it all.
Yeah, I mean, the worse you can make them, the better that they're remembered. Like
Yeah.
that's
Well,
Yeah,
clients
that
love
one
that
was a
too.
huge hit too. Everybody was like, "Whoa, you guys are stepping up your game this year."
it
So
was like Fireball, like for
If,
once nice
no,
all over the counter.
I think we did Captain. We didn't do Fireball though.
we did Jack and Coke, we
Jack
did
and Coke, Captain
Captain,
and Coke,
and
Captain Diet,
Crown.
Crown and Ginger Ale. Yeah.
For your lower dollar ones, it was Sailor Jerry. No,
No, that was fun though.
that's funny because, and you mentioned, the pop buys being cheesy. One of the things that I'm working on, and I kind of got this from Heather, and you kind of reinforced it, is changing kind of the item of value to a postcard and kind of trying to make the brand contingent. Because what Brian sends us is awesome. The item of value is great, but it's not what I'm doing. It's not in my voice. So we're starting to scan the item of value, put it onto our blog, and then kind of talk about it. And any agent that isn't writing their own letter to go with it, it's kind of slacking on that. I mean, it needs to be in your voice, like it needs to come from you, or else it is junk mail.
so so we just changed ours. I mean, I think it was just recently, this last one. We've done two different things with it. We'll take it and we'll turn it into a social post.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing we'll do with it. And then we have changed that letter so it doesn't say Dear Sam and Sally anymore, right? With our name signed at the bottom. We've turned it into a newsletter.
Okay.
And so now they get a newsletter with it. But we also do monthly postcards on top of that. So it's not just that.
So you're emailing the newsletter, or you're mailing it?
We're mailing it.
So snail mailing it. You're doing, so it's in the envelope. So you're putting the cover letter with the item of value and
So the item of value is the same. So the slick piece stays the same. The cover letter changed to a newsletter. Okay. So it looks like a newsletter. It's still got the meat and potatoes in it. We change it to, instead of I, it's we, us, our type stuff. But we've turned it into a more modern looking newsletter for our clients.
So it's slicker. It's more well designed type thing, as opposed to being here's what I think of this. And then you are mailing that. So you're doing a postcard on top of that.
Mm-hmm. The postcard goes out to more people, but like this past one for the month of June was all about July was all about water parks, and local water parks to go to and things like that. But like we did the one at Christmas time was all about, the Hallmark movies, the Countdown to Christmas and things like that. And,
we try to put something out there that they will put on their refrigerator and keep for a little longer. Yes. So the Christmas one Katie mentioned, we did the top 25 holiday movies and we broke it out over the 25 days of Christmas. So, and everybody stuck that up on their refrigerator and we put on Monday the 1st, Frosty the Snowman plays at this time. And we told them what network it was on. And so
and the summer bucket list, that was the cool thing we did at the beginning of summer. We had like a check like on the back of the postcard, they could check when they did things. So it was like eat a watermelon, make corn on the cob, go to a water park.
Yeah.
Or stuff like that. So they have a summer, and that stays on there. I mean, it stays on my pantry all summer long, and people were like, it's on their fridge too. So it's just kind of front of mind. But we follow up again with the postcard with the call. So you're calling them to make sure they got the postcard and, if they, things like that. So.
But again, it's seamless. It's not coming from San Diego. It's coming from your office in Virginia where you're going, hey, look, this is what we think is cool. This is what we would interact with. I always joke around. We do like the referral directory and we do it on a postcard. And I always put like a magnet on the back of it. And I love to go in the house because I'm always smiling back at me. I always see me. and if the
It's better to see
refrigerator,
yourself than another agent, right?
oh man, they have no idea how devastating that is for us. Like,
I had some client tell me, but I like the calendar. I go, you throw it away.
in that week, they received a calendar in the mail. Right.
I was like, I'll get you your own calendar.
Yes.
Anyways.
The other thing, I had one of my clients, they were like, well, I don't want it on the refrigerator. And I was like, well, your garage door is steel. Just stick it right there. Like, we're good to go. Like, because she was literally, she had saved every referral directory I'd ever sent her, which I've been in business 17 years. And she was running out of room on the refrigerator. I was like, you can throw some of them away. And she was like,
they're new. Every year I change them. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the contractors changed. I find that they're like milk. They have an expiration date. At some point, you're like, yeah, whatever reason you're not getting it done, then I'm very militant on that list. Like, I have clients that are like, no, he was really nice. I was like, he didn't get it done. He's gone. Bye.
We have that too. We do the referral directory. It's not a magnet though. It's a book. So we have that we change out. I think we try and do it twice a year. Just update, and change things. But
I use that.
And Mary Beth, I think we talked about this. Oh, what'd you say?
I said I use that as a reason to call too. I call all my clients and ask who they refer, and then you put like a little, star next to the ones that are your referrals that you've tried and true. But I put everybody's on there, and then we do the postcard, but then we have a QR code so I can change it nonstop. You know what I mean? From the website. It takes them to that page.
Yeah, that's nice.
And that way, literally, as soon as somebody messes up, I'm like, gone. Like, we don't wait for the 6 months.
They don't get a second chance.
Well, I mean, I'm listening, but if it doesn't make sense to me, as you know, we get blamed for everything they do wrong or everything they do right. You know what I mean?
That's true. Very true.
And I was talking to an agent, and I won't say his name, but he was saying he literally goes to his contractors and goes, look, we're going to have accountability. You're either going to give me referrals or you're going to pay me for all the business I send you. And I was like, here's my dilemma with that. He's paying you and he's doing a horrible job. Now you have a conflict of interest. Like, what I want you to do.
That I would definitely, that wouldn't be okay. But Mary Beth's part of a BNI group here in Northern Virginia. She's actually the president of it this year. And there's 30 members now, Shelly?
30.
30 members. And she passed over $1 million worth of business. I think she hit that milestone a few years ago. But BNI, and we talked about this, makes up about 25% of our business. Mm. So it's business providers, but they go in that referral directory, but they know,
Well, because they have accountability at those meetings as well, and they have goals that they hit, and there's a whole slide on who gave what business out this week, and so it's great, and it definitely helps.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. It's just once we start taking money, I just don't want that conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Like I told one of the contractors, he's like, well, what do I got to do to be on here? I said, you got to make it so when they call me, they're thanking me and not complaining to me. That's what I want. Like, take care of them, be fair. Yeah. That's it. Don't, the rest of it, whatever. Do a good job. Do what you say you're going to do. That's really all I want. I think that's fine. The other marketing thing that you mentioned to me, and I am asking this because I selfishly want to get it recorded. I can't take as good of notes as these. And if you go back and listen to all the shows, we've had some really good guests and we've gotten some good stuff. And one of my other goals is to get you guys to start giving me like questions like, oh, he's coming on. I would like to know this, sort of thing. But you mentioned your birthday club, and I am very curious about that. How did that get installed?
Brainchild but Mary Beth, that came about. Mary Beth had wanted to do that for a very long time, but it wasn't until Shelly came onto the team that we were able to get it off the ground. So it's a birthday club for the kids of A+ and A's. So, you have to qualify your database. So we sent out, I believe it was at the beginning of the year, the letters to the kids, and it had a questionnaire. It was, what was their name? their birthday, their favorite place to eat, their favorite color, what they love to do most with their family. And some kids were really, really funny when they responded with their answers. But we kept them. And so at the beginning of every month, like the team, we have team meetings every Tuesday. So the last Tuesday in June before July hit, we all signed the birthday club cards for the kids for July. And the cards get mailed to them and they have a gift card to get ice cream at a local place. And that was so well received. The fact that we had sent it to their children was so big because everyone filled it out. Everyone did. We got it back, no problem. So that was a brainchild of Mary Beth, but Shelly was the real executor on all of that and getting it out there. And so they have the cards and stuff, and it says celebrate your birthday all month long, I think is what the inside of it does. So
Happy birthday month. And then whenever we have a new person that goes to closing, then the agents will decide, do they qualify for the birthday club yet? And if they do, then they'll take one of the cards and the questionnaires with them and give it to them at closing. And it's got a self-addressed return, or return label envelope in it. And they just send it back to us and we put them in the birthday club.
And another thing, just as a side to that, we get the kids involved when it comes to selling the house. So we have a kids listing agreement and we have them initial next to making their bed, turning on the lights, doing the chores. And they initial next to each one of those boxes, and then they sign the bottom and we sign the bottom. And if they do it, they get, we will send them, once they're under contract, a gift card for I think it's $25 for the kid, each kid in the house, to Target or to their favorite store or whatever it may be. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting.
So they're very involved from the very beginning.
Getting the kids involved. And we had a client who posted all about it on social media and it took off, and they were excited, and the parents are so excited because they're like, the kids are really involved. And we also say that when listings were sitting for a little bit longer, we would go and check on the house periodically. And we would say, if we come and, your bed's not made, your bathroom's not tidy, then, that's going to be a strike against you. So we won't tell you when we're coming to visit.
Now they're fearing you. They're like, oh my God, they're coming.
Now we've instilled, that's more Mary Beth when she says that. And all the clients and the kids kind of know Mary Beth as, former Army captain. She raised 4 kids. She's a little bit of a...
Well, and she always says that if you touch the hearts of the kids, then you have the parents for life. I mean, it really is a true family affair. And I mean, we're selling properties for parents and their children and, cousins and siblings. So it trickles.
It definitely, I have a family here and I actually met them in college. I was delivering pizza. And I have literally sold everyone on their family tree except for one brother who still lives in Italy. And the joke is he's got to at least buy an investment property. I need something. I teased them that they're like Pokemon cards and I'm collecting them. I'm like, I'm missing one. Come on. I was like, we could chip in. Funny.
Yeah, one of her first clients here in they're like, you gotta buy it. One of her first clients here in Virginia, they had triplet daughters, and one of them purchased a house in, Tulsa with a Buffini agent. So she helped them when they were 7, and now she's sold that house since and moved back here. But that's kind of crazy. So the parents bought and sold with Mary Beth, and then the daughter bought and sold in Oklahoma, Tulsa, with a Buffini agent. So.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, if you do it right, it will happen. I mean, that's the other thing I try to get across. Like, you're doing them a favor. If you feel like we're doing a good job, you're handing them somebody, because not everybody does what we do. You know what I mean? And not even everyone in the network does what we do.
Exactly.
So
and that's our big thing. I mean, Mary Beth, our team is, and our team is always about what's right for you and the family. And we do truly believe that. Yeah, it's, obviously we want to sell houses, but it's about when the timing is right for you and the family. And, that includes the kids and sometimes the fur babies too. So. Get them involved.
I tell my clients, I'm going to be in business a long time. My wife says I get to retire when I die.
That's right.
I mean, I don't have to work the haunted house circuit or anything. So I'm really excited about that, but not in a hurry. I'll be here. That's kind of the joke. When we have a client who has a baby, I'm like, how many years? So that's 18. All right, I'm marking my calendar now. We need to start the piggy bank.
Putting it down.
Yeah, that's just funny. So you guys you mentioned client parties, and we talked a little bit about this. You're doing how many client parties now? Or events, I guess?
So we do, January is our VIP event. So it wraps up the year before. We moved that to January from December because December is so crazy. People don't want to talk to real estate, Then we do a spring cleaning event, which has a junk truck and a shredding truck in March. And we do that in our neighborhood. Mary Beth and I live in the same neighborhood. So we do it at our community clubhouse. And then we have an ice cream party at a local ice cream shop for kicking off the end of school. And then we do a back to school ice cream party. And we take clients to Washington Nationals baseball game in September. We have a fall festival at Messick's Farm up here locally in October. And we do the pie party in November. And then December, one of our special things, if they bought a house this past year, we get them a White House ornament. And then we do wrapping paper and things like that. So I think that was like 6 or 7 client parties. And then, of course, you filter the pop buys throughout, but the client parties are a lot of fun for us. And I enjoy client parties out of the whole system. I think client parties are my favorite because it's the biggest bang for your buck. You get to see so many of your favorite people. You're taking them out. The fall festival was huge for us the first year we did it. We had they loved that. And that was awesome. And the baseball game is a lot of fun because a lot of people don't get to go to the Nats game. So that was fun. The pie party is also big. So that's fun too. That's probably my least favorite, but that's okay.
Do you have a pie eating contest? I had an agent tell me that they added that to their pie party. And I was like, it's kind of genius and I kind of hate
That's funny. No, I think we're going to try and add pictures with Santa. We haven't done that yet, but I think that this year we're finally going to pull the plug on that, kind of just see if we can do that. And then you'd have people sign up for certain spots so they can come and sit with Santa.
We installed that a couple of years ago. So that's been normal. We combined that with the pie party. So we're kind of like, get your pie, get your picture with Santa. And then that's right before Thanksgiving. And then we are done through the end of the year because ain't nobody trying to talk to a realtor at that point. They don't.
No, and you're right. The rest of the year is just about keeping your transactions that you have going. And but
the only thing, how many people are coming to your party generally?
Oh, God. Well, the spring cleaning and shred event includes neighborhoods too. So that's a lot of people. I mean, that's probably anywhere. I think that's 200 people, probably 200 households. The VIP party is usually about 30 couples.
Okay.
That's the VIP party. Those are people who've referred us multiple times. That's what that is, just to thank them for continuing to support our business with their referrals. The Nats party is about 150 total. The fall festival is probably about 200 to 250 people total. So, and then the pie party, I think we usually give away about 150 pies. It'll probably be more this year. But
so from a logistical standpoint, you can only have one Santa, and then you have 150 pictures to get through.
Yeah.
And Santas are
but not everyone's going to want pictures with Santa.
But people, it's always a different group that comes through. The
people,
I've done it, we installed it, and I definitely was like, oh my God, this is a bit overwhelming. Because by the time you pay for the event and the food, the Santa, the photographer, and then literally each party touched somebody different, right? But anybody with small kids rolled in for the picture thing. And it definitely had a line. Not to the point where I'm at, where Greg Chaplin is, where they have Mrs. Claus pictures just because the line got that long. And they were we couldn't get them in for the party. There were elves and
I was gonna
that
say,
sort of
how
thing.
many like different people from Santa's family did you guys have?
Oh, that's all Greg, and he has like 12 people on his team, so they had a ton, and it was like a brokerage event, so literally they
Oh,
had three picture lines. I think it was like Rudolph, Mrs. Claus, and Santa.
I
Like,
was gonna say they have a reindeer. I got.
yeah, I
We could
mean
get.
that's
There's deer in my backyard. We can go grab them. Just kidding.
you're gonna wrangle. Your job description has just changed.
Yeah,
Shelly,
exactly.
don't let her push that on you, Shelly. Don't take that one.
The reindeer from the backyard. There was a turkey too, so I've got it all covered.
oh,
The
Crazy.
wilderness
No,
is
that's a
real.
good point about the Santa pictures. I've never been. I mean, it just all depends. You could have an elf, I guess, too, if you
Hmm.
wanted to. Yeah.
You definitely could. So how
So
are you
that's
guys?
basically our client parties.
So how are you guys adding people to the database? I know by referral. I know we get calls saying, "Hey, my sister wants to buy a house," but are you doing other things to actively bring people into the system? Open houses, all the normal things. I'm assuming, but do you have anything intentional campaign wise?
not so much currently. Our business is really built on by referral. I mean, we are
Hmm.
99% by referral. Actually, we're 100% right now, but last year I think we were at 99. Um, but what we are in the process of doing is revamping our website and building a standalone website that will cater to four different groups of people. So
Hmm.
potentially new people, and in the process of doing this, we don't pay for leads, but we
Right.
will try to organically improve our position on the web so that people will organically find us. And when that happens, we're going to have some things set up so that we can capture their information to be able to bring them into our world, and then we can turn around and call them and see how we can help them,
Hmm.
and where they are in their timeline as far as buying and selling. So that's what we're in the process of working on at the moment. But as far as buying leads and purchasing leads, you know, we don't do that.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of purchasing leads. The closest I would get is paying a referral fee to an agent from another. If you guys sent me business in Richmond, obviously you're going to pay for that. The we've not, we've kind of added a lot of what we're doing to video, like doing the same things we've always done. We're just videoing us doing that and then putting it out there, and we've gotten a little response from that. It's a great validator for your current clients, but you're also just touching people. Um, and I was resistant against this, and literally my coach was like, "Stand in line at an elevator, and what is everybody doing? They're all looking at their phone. So you can be there or not. It's totally up to you." And I was like, "Okay." But I mean, it's
Yeah.
again, it's
One thing
validating
we
what we're
did.
already doing.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm
Sure.
done.
Yeah. One thing we did to try and get us up higher this past month, and we talked about it, was the Google reviews. So within our
Mm-hmm.
team, we made an effort to get Google reviews. So we'd start because we got Facebook and Zillow reviews, and we had a
Yes.
lot on there, but we weren't really utilizing Google. So what we did, starting in the month of June, we started with only like 14 Google reviews, and now we're well over 110 by just that one push to get out in front. And it was a competition amongst us team members. And we would let the clients know
Yeah.
that we're competing against our team, like
Mm-hmm.
individual team, just to get as many Google reviews as we can get. And I think it went really well. So I was over 110. So that's still our push to continue to get
Mm-hmm.
those. And we if we didn't get them on the phone, we would send the QR code in the personal note, or we'd email them, all of that. So, and that made it really easy for them to write a review for us. So
Another
Yeah.
way we are pulling outside people in. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Go.
Oh, another way we're pulling outside people in is the neighborhoods that the agents live in currently. We've got a quarterly mailer. It's a market update mailer that's going out to those neighborhoods. So there's 3 neighborhoods right now that we are marketing to, and basically they're just getting what sold this past quarter, where the market sits right now, what are the average days on market, what is the list at sale ratio right now, and then if you want to know what your home is worth in today's current market, give us a call type thing. So
Mm-hmm.
we are sending those out. We're also sending out a postcard after we've closed a property if we think that it's a good turnover neighborhood that says, guess what we did with your neighbor last night.
Yeah, I've seen
So,
that.
and then
I like
it's,
that one.
we sold them. So
Yeah, no, I
we
like
are
that
doing
one.
those things.
So you've got, and I know you guys do a bit of farming. What does the farm look like? I know, so you mentioned the quarterly to, the neighborhoods you live in. Is that the farm, or is it like, hey, we're going to send our monthly postcards, or what does that look like?
We're just doing the quarterly postcards right now with the monthly update. And
Mm-hmm.
then we also invite all of those neighborhoods to that spring cleaning event.
Mm-hmm.
So they have that. So, I mean, they're coming to, if they want to come to that and, just make it known in those neighborhoods. All of us are very, I would say, pretty active in the neighborhoods. So people know our name, know our faces. And then when they get the postcard, that kind of just solidifies it a little bit more.
Well, and like in one of the neighborhoods, it's Mary Beth and Katie both live in the same neighborhood, and we have a banner at the pool because there's swim events and swim meets going on. So things like that are also
Okay.
up. So they do recognize us and they know our faces, and so the 4 touch a year is, just to keep us in front of
Consistent, yeah, to stay consistent, that sort of thing. Thank you guys so much for all the you've been so generous with sharing everything. So we get into a couple fun questions, like what is your favorite quote? Because we're all the self-development fiends that we are. What is your go-to?
Shelly has a funny one.
Oh no, that is inappropriate.
You can't use it. Okay. I ride the Peloton. I was gonna say
okay, I'll tell it to you if it's,
okay,
if it's really okay.
Yeah. I was gonna say
it's average, be legendary.
There you go.
I like it. There's nothing wrong with that. You have to be 18 to have a real estate license. That's our audience, right there.
Right.
I ride the Peloton a lot. So one of my favorite instructors is Jess Sims, and she says how you do anything is how you do everything. And then she usually follows it up with like level up, like this is just know that like whatever you're doing, it's, you got to do it the best way you can, because that's how you do everything in life. So I don't know. It's kind of what we're trying to teach the girls too. So
yeah, don't do anything you don't plan on trying to be excellent at, kind of thing. You know what I mean? If you're not going to try to be good at it, maybe don't do it. Don't waste that energy.
Yeah.
I like that.
And don't half-ass it, I think is the big thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're not going to put it in there, there's no point in doing it. I mean, that's really great advice, and I think that we can all live off that a little bit. So, what do you think your superpower would be? And I know that this can be interpreted a couple of different ways, and like I was telling Katie, do your way. It doesn't really, we're not that specific.
I thought it was, what would you want your superpower to be? And I was toying between breathing underwater and flying, because I think that's cool. Like breathing underwater, I swam through college, so that to me would be like epic. But like flying would be cool. But I don't know. That's it. But what is my superpower? I'm very organized and structured. So there, I'll give that. Everything has to have a place.
And we have one advantage with both of. I was gonna say both of you on the show. Shelly is this true that she's organized and structured.
Oh yes,
I like it.
She is. Everything has a place, and in its place, everything shall live.
Yes. And my kids it's probably a little extreme, because my kids hide things like their school stuff that I'm like, well, you don't need that. Like, that was homework. We don't need to keep that. So it goes in the trash. So they tend to hide their little fidgets and things so I don't throw them away. So it's probably not the best thing to say, but I don't like clutter. So
I was going to say, I grew up that way. I had to dig my college acceptance letter out of the trash because my mom was like, it was in the wrong place. I was like, I left it out. I thought you'd be proud of me. And yeah, that's funny.
Mine, if it was what could it be, mine was I would want to fly. What is it? I think I'm fairly good at talking to people and bridging gaps. I think people have told me that. And positivity. I try to stay positive.
All of those would be super helpful in your job. Very, very good skills. I can tell that you're, that'll definitely help with what you're doing. Well, thank you guys so much for being on the show. This was really, really fun. And I shall talk to you soon. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to apply this information to your business immediately. This message will not self-destruct in 5 seconds. Good luck, agents.